Video 2, we're going to look at paths as shapes. So we looked at chapter 2, creating paths to animate your text on, but now we're going to look at actually creating certain paths, and whether you want to use them as a mask or a shape itself, or creating paint strokes, motion paths. There's a lot that you can do, so we're going to look at each path as its own unique aspect. So we're going to come up here and we're going to be using this pen tool to create our paths. So we can either create, a path using a segment as a line, and right up here, as you notice, because of how many for stroke, if I wanted to say, let's just do 5, make a nice, thin line. We can animate that later on, and I'll show you that. So we can have a straight line, or we can do, things where we can curve it and create a different shape by doing this. And let me go ahead and finish this and close it off. And notice that little circle right next to the pen tool. That means if I hit there, I'm closing off that path. All right, so now I've created a line path and I've created a really odd shape, but looking at the different paths, we're going to look at how you can control that. So these things that are popping off these paths are called our direction handles. And these are used to change the shape of the path, and you can use that by dragging. So if I grab, select V, I can come up here, and I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit, and I'm going to go to one of these. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit. Remember, those you can either control plus to zoom in, control minus. But as I grab this, I can change this shape. Okay, so I can manipulate by this. I can even bring the handle in. I can pull it out, and I can do the same thing with the other side if I can even see where the handle is. There it is. Okay, so I can change the shape, bring it in, bring it out. And even when I hold down Alt, so this is one thing that a lot of times you'll have to learn on your own, but when I hold down Alt, see how I can control just this handle, and the other handle is not being changed. So like a lot of times when you will have, let me go ahead and control Z and undo. So when I move this handle, see how the opposite end is moving as well? But if I hold Alt, okay, let me go ahead and Alt, whoop, there we go. You have to grab the handle, then hold Alt. I can now change this separate from the other side. So that's kind of cool. So we're going to look at points, okay, and I'm going to grab my selection tool. I can look at either corner paths, which is more of a straight line. So if I were to create a box right now, just like this, I've got my corner paths. But looking at my corner paths, I can create the corner paths just like on this, or I can have smooth points where it kind of has a rounded side. Okay, and so there's different ways you can do that, and again, by controlling and using your pen tool and your selection tool to get those handles. So if I come in here, okay, I've just created that new point, which I've added to it. So I've created a new point, and you can control still using your pen tool. I know a lot of times I will go to my selection tool just so I don't create a new point like that, but just control Z if if you want to. But I can control that. And I can also, looking at things that we created here, let me get out just a tiny bit. We're looking at things as an open path, which is like a line, so this beginning point is different than its end point. So that would be an open path, just like a straight line. And a closed path, which isn't really, a circle, but just showing how I closed it off. So I've created this path that is closed or can be continuous looking at it. So, common geometric shapes that we're looking at, whether we want to create it ourselves, or up here we have our, polygon or star or ellipses. And then, from your arbitrary shapes that you can create, with using your pen tool. So that's, again, getting into creating some different shapes by using the pen tool. All right, so hopefully you'll have fun with that. It can be, challenging to control exactly what you want, but using these handles can really make a difference when creating masks and different shapes.